Hi guys, Shay here from Full on a Journey, and happy Halloween! Hopefully this will be up by tonight. I'm not for sure on that, but I'm definitely going to try. If not, it'll be up by tomorrow, and then it'll just be okay that it's the first and not the Halloween. Okay, so what you see here, all of these goodies. You'll notice in the back, those are propped up against another one. I have two tool chests. They're an average size tool chests, so they're not humongous. They are full of decks, tarot and oracle. They're full of them. A couple of them are some that I've had for a little while. Most of them are new. All of the stuff here that you're seeing, these are all new. All the books are new. All the decks are new. So clearly what I did was go obnoxiously overboard. That's clear. That is absolutely clear. So I was on a deck buying ban, which clearly didn't work out. I got to a point where the more I told myself I'm on a ban and I can't have things, the more I wanted them. I have learned my lesson. There will be no more bans. I will just pace myself. So hopefully this will not happen again. But because I went crazy and purchased tons and tons of things, a lot of the things that I purchased are really extensive, different systems. For example, Tarot of the Spirit. I did get that deck. I started kind of playing with it a little bit, and then when I saw this is the guidebook, this is the how to use the deck with Kabbalah. And, that was kind of my purpose, is I really, I loved all of the Kabbalah that I was, sort of learning in the companion to the Gil Tarot, which I'm still currently reading. And so that was why I bought the books and the deck for the Tarot of the Spirit, which, admittedly, I did not know how long they were when I purchased them. I knew that this one was big and meaty, and I figured this one would be about the same size. This was a bit of a shock. This is almost as big as Holistic Tarot. And then I did the same thing with the Navigator's Dream. I got all 3 of those books, which the Navigator's Dream goes with the Navigators of the Mystic Sea Tarot, if you don't know that. And so I had all of these sitting like in front of the books on my bookshelves with the deck on top. And they were staring at me in my library, saying, you're supposed to be figuring this out. You bought this deck because you wanted to learn this system. You haven't read this book, so you can't really use this deck until you get through this book. Well, this book is 500 pages. That's going to take forever. I'm never going to get there. So I had all of these new systems and books and decks sort of staring at me. And it was putting me in this really weird place of feeling pressured and feeling like I was just behind, which is ridiculous because I'm completely self-taught. I don't sell readings. It is 100% for me. So why would I put myself in a position where I feel like I'm not succeeding? Anything that I do with tarot is a success because I didn't have to do it at all. This realization really came sort of in the start of the sun currently being in Scorpio, and I am a Scorpio, so this is my birthday season. Very excited. I will be 28, and Scorpio and death are just so where I'm at right now. I'm letting all of this sort of, pre-scheduled, really controlled, learning system and practice, I'm letting it die. I'm just letting it die. The reason that I have that toolbox back there, that is any deck that I got that has its own system, so like Tarot of the Spirit. There are a couple of Oracle decks that I got that are a totally different thing, that are not, what's the word I'm looking for? That are not like just pull cards and read them intuitively. They are in one of those 2 toolboxes, and they're going in the closet when this video is done filming, because I am letting the pressure die. I have all of the books, will still be out on my shelf. When I get to them, I get to them. Once I've finished the book and I'm ready to work with the deck, it's right there. I can pull it out and go for it. But right now, I just have to stop with staring at them and having them, and having that feeling of them staring at me. So I am letting that die in my little Scorpio season here. My birthday is so close to the end of the year anyways, and it is, I'm a Scorpio, so I really get very involved in that. How am I going to become something new and different, and how am I going to embrace this next year? And a lot of that came from realizing what last year was. I don't know if anybody else does like their card of the year, their like numerological, sorry, I stuttered over that, card of the year. And mine this past year was the Hermit. And this is the Hermit from the Bohemian Gothic, which I am very much enjoying. It's one of my new ones. The decks that I have sitting out here that you can see are decks that I felt like were simple and intuitive. I can pull them out, I can read them. I'll do an updated collections video with the decks I have out soon, at some point. Lots of new fools. But it was a Hermit year for me. 2017 was the Hermit for me, and I felt a lot like this guy. I really surrounded myself in this sort of cloak of darkness, in the sense that I didn't know. I didn't know enough, and I needed to go out and find it. I needed to go out and find the answers to all my questions. I needed to go out and find, I just needed to discover. I needed to walk out into the woods with the lamp and find the answer. And I found the answer. And rephrase. I went looking for the answer in a lot of different decks with a lot of different systems in a lot of different books. You can see here I've got tarot for writers, astrology for writers, tarot and psychology, and this is just a fraction of the books. I mean, I've got I have 3 shelves of just tarot books. I have a whole nother shelf of all of the spiritual books, and it's just this had to be, this is what drove that. I had to go looking for answers. I'm in a financial situation where when I found something that I thought had an interesting answer to one of my questions, I could purchase it, which is a very wonderful, blessed place to be in. But I definitely went overboard. So as I'm sort of moving through this Scorpio death energy, birthday transformation, I started looking at what comes next. Next year, it is the Wheel. So next year, my card of the year is the Wheel of Fortune. I picked the Ritual Abuse Tarot, which is sitting right, there's that box right back there. Because it was spooky and Halloween-y. And also, this dude is clearly, he's tied to that wheel. It rolls over, he's rolling over with it. And I really kind of just wanted a more simplified approach where I could just kind of roll with it. I've got the books sitting on the shelf, I can pull them out whenever I want. I have the decks still, it's not like I'm getting rid of anything. I do have a couple that I have found that I've had for a while that I'm thinking maybe it's time to either trade or sell, but I'll figure that out later. And I'm just really letting myself kind of relax and slow down and just turn at a nice even pace instead of trying to race through all of this stuff where I wouldn't even learn. It's like if I sprint through this book trying to read this cover to cover, I am not going to retain any of that. I will not have learned anything. That will not be helpful to me. And I don't want that. I really want to dig into this stuff and learn it and know it and have it be, a part of me and my practice. And so that's kind of my big change. That's my big transformation. Real quick, sort of a brief of what you see. There are definitely some decks I already have that I'm keeping out. Some of the new ones are the Ritual Abuse, the Wooden Tarot, which actually ended up with the whole set. It's the Wooden Tarot, the Earthbound Oracle, and the Seeker's Lenormand. Got the Gorgon's Tarot, Bohemian Gothic, the Alice Tarot. I got the Ritual Abuse, the Lost Code, the Halloween Tarot, both sets of the Arcana playing cards. And so much of why I ended up purchasing all this stuff had to do with how I found them, which was mostly, the majority of all of this was, people were passing them on, were getting rid of them for whatever reason, and I got them together. Like, I bought the Bohemian Gothic and the Alice Tarot from somebody who's getting rid of both of them, and I paid for both of them what you can now pay for one of them. So that was amazing and crazy, and I actually even got the book for the Alice Tarot with that deal too, so that's awesome. The Arcana playing cards that are over there, I ended up with the light and the dark. Somebody did the same thing. Somebody had both of them, we're getting rid of them, and we're going to sell them for what it would have essentially cost me to purchase one. So it just seemed like such a good deal that I told myself I can't say no, because I want these, and this is an opportunity that won't be around again when my ban, see how long that lasted, is over. What else is there? That's the Lost Code. I said the Gorgon's Tarot. I got the Cosmic Tarot that's actually in the Gorgon's Tarot box with it. And then there are a bunch of new Oracle decks and a bunch of new Tarot decks that are shut up in those toolboxes that I will get out eventually when their time comes. It just hasn't yet. And that's okay. And that's just kind of where I am right now. I am deciding on how I'm going to sort of incorporate the wheel, the energy of the wheel that is going to be coming up for me this year, because I kind of want to like make a transition. Like, I really want, once this Scorpio season is over, I really want to embrace the move between the Hermit and the wheel without it just being the Hermit until December 31st and the wheel on January 1st. So I'm evaluating that, I'm learning about myself, I'm making realizations, which obviously is expected in in this time of year, especially for a Scorpio, not just because the sun's in Scorpio. What else? I am going to try very hard. My goal is to really get through, I would like to start doing some deck reviews that sort of focus more on the books. The majority of the decks I have, I also got the thicker guidebooks, not just the little white books. And I really want to start working on going through those, because there are some very interesting decks that are easily accessible, that are older, that have some really impressive companion books. And so I'm working on kind of going through that. I do want to keep going with the tarot books that are not companion books that I have finished. I'm going to keep reviewing those coming up. I've been enjoying doing that. I'm working on a really good one right now. I actually think I'm also going to start doing book reviews of the spiritual books that I've read, because this year has been, a lot of the discovery that I've been doing is about my spiritual practice, and really accepting that, just saying, okay, well, I'm clearly, not Catholic. I clearly don't believe this. I don't believe this. I don't, vibrate with this, is not enough. I need to start finding out the things that do work for me and that I do believe. And I've talked about that a little bit, and how tarot is sort of helping me build my practice. And I've actually found some other things that I'm interested in incorporating. And I kind of think I've found, you're never done studying, you're never done looking. And just because it won't be a hermit year next year, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep studying and keep looking. But I found a good place to be. I found a solid foundation. I've created a solid foundation for what I do believe and what I do want to do regularly, and how I want to try to connect spiritually. And so I've really sort of found that, and as as I move forward from this foundation and build up from there, I realized that, what I was looking for on YouTube was exactly that. What I went searching for on YouTube was how to build that foundation. I started watching everybody's, videos about, the path to tarot hashtag was amazing, about sort of how people led into what they are now and what they're doing now and what path they're following now. I found so many amazing YouTubers that are, pagan and Wiccan and, eclectic witches. And I don't use the word witch to describe myself, but why not? Is really why not? I don't know. But it's just, that was really what I went looking for on YouTube. So my hope and my intention is to continue putting out my foundation and how I built it, so that if someone who's also out there, kind of lost and searching, happens to stumble upon something that I have read or discovered or found for me that they want, or to incorporate or to learn, or, if I've got something great out of a book, I want to be able to give that to other people. I want to be able to give that back to the, YouTube spiritual community online, because the YouTube spiritual community online has given so much to me this year. This year I spent the majority of the time being an observer and a learner, and I would like to start really inputting more of what I've learned back out there, and hopefully it'll be some new stuff, some fresh things that other people can find and enjoy and learn and take with them into their practice. So that is my Scorpio discovery for the year. I'm very excited about being 28, which will be happening any day now. I've got a few days. And I hope everybody has an awesome, amazing, festive, wonderful, witchy, fabulous Halloween. And thank you so much for watching.